Welcome back to Banner Saga. Let's read about these missing supplies. Someone's been nicking extra goods from the supplies, a concerned woman tells you. Counted these myself yesterday. No mistake. If this keeps up, we'll be starving before long. I think we're going to be starving before long regardless. Post a few extra guards to watch the supplies sounds tempting. Ask clansmen if they've seen anything suspicious also seems like a good idea. Like, these two seem like a good idea to do in general. Announce that any more missing supplies results in vanishing. I'm kind of wondering if maybe the person who's doing it doesn't care. Tell me if you see it again. Yeah, let's just post some extra guards. To deter any further theft, you discreetly place some trusted guards by the caravan. You hear a few people casual point out the extra manpower, but nobody seems to raise an alarm for now. Onward march. Oh, that looks like the edge of the wastes, maybe. Maybe. Morale didn't go down. Morale has declined. I'm going to make camp because morale's starting to worry me. I think we're getting close to a point where it could be a problem. So let's rest. It's one day. This also gives me an opportunity to introduce E-Kill, who is a grudge wielder. Worrying. Can replace E-Gil. Yeah. Next fight's going to be interesting. Shield and sword, shield and axe, shield and axe, shield and axe, bow, bow. Do that, do that. Because Mogan has had several opportunities to get that second kill. Oh, God, and Hogan has 0? Actually, you know what? Mogan is 1 kill away from leveling up. Hogan is 2. Let's give Mogan that opportunity to get his second kill, I guess. Alright. One more day. Let's get morale up. And let's go. I think we're about to exit the waste. Oh, good. There's a fucking city. Whew! You can see the edge of tow on the side of the screen. A flurry of snowfall seems to come out of nowhere and quickly thickens until you're unable to see the man in front of you. You shout out a complete halt, but the screaming winds drown out the sound. A day passes before the blizzard abets and clansmen start to reappear from the snowdrifts. It quickly becomes apparent that not everybody is where you last saw them, and a quick search of the area is not enough to recover all the missing clansmen. Say a blessing for the lost. Commit an hour to searching before departing. Ask volunteers to scout the immediate area. Sounds safest. Plenty of volunteers step forward and you send them in each direction for a predetermined amount of time. The scouts return mostly empty-handed and family members plead for more time to search. Yeah, I'll commit to an hour. While calling out for missing family and friends, the clansmen trample the snow into boggy slush. Any chance of finding tracks are soon lost, and the caravan slowly submits to their solemn failure. Well! Oh, 32 clansmen. Yeah, that is fair. Decline in.
Wormtow was never the kind of place someone would build a town. Fittingly, the Var living here aren't known for welcoming visitors with open arms.
That makes sense. Alright, well. Hopefully they're friendly enough with us. I've seen this map. The Var will find you before you see them, not surprisingly with this many people behind you. With weapons drawn, they demand to know why you're here, but back down when Ivar tells him he's coming to see someone called Krumer. Well, I'll be damned. Krumer. It's been a long time. Yeah, it has. So what brings Yngvar to Wormtow with his own village of humans? Bad news. Dredger coming down from the north. We barely made it this far. That is dire news. Come on. We have food. We'll discuss more in the mead house. I think Krumer was one of the old guys that's... Tutorial man. Why can I not remember his name? It's been like a week since I filmed the episodes you guys saw not as long ago. Well, actually, it's been 2 weeks since the last episode, so who the fuck I know. Anyway, he talks about like 3 people that are older. I think Krumer's one of them. He talks about how Krumer just goes into battle and he's like, I'll definitely outlive him. Who knows? As you follow the old Varl into the meager town, you catch him quietly saying, "If it were anyone else." Alright. I've talked with the warriors here. I'll be honest with you. Half want to go north and find out what happened to Blotzbalker. Some think we should go to Grofheim instead. None of them are happy that you're here. What do you think? If I had it my way, I'd stay here and let the dredge come. But you made this a problem, didn't you? We can't feed this many people for long, even if they don't eat much. This is a Varl town. Most of us take care of ourselves. You've got women, children. We could pitch in, make this place livable. It doesn't work like that. These Varl are here to get away from civilization, not make one. It's Krumer's call. It won't be long before Dredge are here too. No, it won't. If there's one thing we should do, it's tell Jorundir what's going on. Who's Jorundir? Varl King. Well, it's close to the ones we have. Young Var, where'd you find these people? Stay here and rest. Once you're ready to go, we do. I'm going to see, though, if those who want to head north. But I'll join you to Grofheim. We're going to Grofheim. I don't think I made it this far. Interesting. More travel? No, we've already come so far. Stop the pouting, girlie. Even if Jorundir won't listen to a tired old Varl like me, I have a feeling they'll pay attention to your friend Youngvar here. They'll listen to Ivar? He hasn't told you? Of course he hasn't. But what do you need? Do what you need to do, but don't be long. Oh. Cromer, can you spare a moment? Mostly no, but I'll try. Never had a moment to thank you for your hospitality. Consider it done, then! How'd you get all these Varl to follow you? Respect, young one. After the Second Great War, wasn't much for me left to do, so I started training other Varl to fight. Got tired of that, made a place in Wormtow. They still come calling, even with no wars to speak of. Seems like that might be changing, though, don't it? So who is Youngvar? Ha! I'm not surprised he never told you. I'm just surprised you can stand being around anyone at all. Your friend was one of us, long ago. I mean, the dredge-bashing type. He was called Youngvar then. If you want to know why he changed his name, best ask him yourself. I'm too old to peddle in gossip. That's fair. I bet you have some incredible stories. I might. Or, I could be the most boring Var you've ever met. Depends on how much you like killing dredge. Ask me again someday. Might tell you about the time we filled a dead yox with whale teeth. And why? I was about to say, why? Any wisdom on fighting dredge? Depends on how much you know. They're all armor. Tap them hard enough, though, it'll shatter. Line up a whole row of slag and they'll explode on each other all the way down. You get a big brawl, half your time is spent setting them up for it. If you see one bang his axe like a tuning fork, try to kill him quick. Sometimes the slag he's calling won't even show up. Why do you ask? What do you ask? I best leave you to your business. I suppose you should. Take care, friend of Youngvar. I like him. I like him a lot. Which is not surprising. I usually like everybody. Heroes? I don't think I have anyone to promote. Ooh, Krumer's joining. Well, that's a problem. Rook. There we go. We really are going to get in the next battle with a bunch of level 1s. Market. Why can you Slinging Stone? +2 will per kill. I need supplies. I don't know how many days worth of supplies, so I'm just going to do that. And hope, really. Seems like the best we can do. Rest for a day, get morale up. Great. Let's read the map. Read anything we can in between the sections we passed. So we went from there to here. So let's read Nordfelling Wastes. The Nordfelling were not always wastes. At one time, a lake sprawled for hundreds of miles until the land cracked beneath it, and the water drained over generations, leaving a featureless frozen desert. Within, curious explorers found the remains of the Godstone Rudemire, and wondered how it got there. really makes me wonder what the Godstones actually are. Because I assumed they were carved by these people. But the fact that they're finding them applies differently. I think we've already read Sutherland, the Kingdom of Men. Yeah, we read that one. So that's irrelevant. These paths, none of them have... Well, that's a path that has a name. A path. I'm intrigued. Gnasher, Biter, and Grinder. 3 steep peaks near Greyhorn reach high enough into the sky that on foggy days, only the spires can be seen above the mists, stretching into the sky like 3 jagged teeth emerging angrily from the earth. And Wormtow. In the foothills of the Wormscale Mountains, the Varl created a small town beneath tall pines, overlooking the Nordfelling wastes. Few come here, aside from those looking for seclusion. And then the mountains. And I'm pretty sure the plan is to go along through the mountains towards Kingsborough and then up into Two Spears on that path. So, Wormscale Mountains, the land's largest range of mountains. It was observed resembled something like the spine of an impossibly large worm. Each of its numerous peaks just one of many invisible scales. This idea, of course, didn't come about until the first maps were drawn. Before that, it was simply called the Far Mountain. There's a city over here. Wonder if they made the map first and then sort of go from there. Because, like, look at... There's so much going on down here. And if we're, like... Team 1 went from Strand up to Verderfell to Ridgehorn to Schlid up to Grofheim. Team 2 went from Skagor to Frostveller to Wormtow to Grofheim. When are we getting down to Langloom Forest and Bolsker or Borsgard or Umsaddle, like Fiska Bay? Plains of Slaughter? The early days of the Horseborn are a tragic tale indeed. No tale more so than the Plains of Slaughter, were furious at men's treatment of horses and conflicted emotions about their own relationship to the beasts, stole and slaughtered the horses wholesale in defiance. As time passed, they would deeply regret the decision and withdraw further into horseborn territories, cutting themselves off from other intelligent races completely. Centaurs. Centaurs didn't like how horses were treated, so they slaughtered them. Huh. Fascinating. Closing the map now. I guess we head out. I've been here. I don't remember Cromer. Really should, though. He's fucking amazing. Anyway, I guess we'll leave Wormtow. Grofheim's quite a few days out, but nothing's worse than crossing the wastes, I imagine. If there's anywhere you might be safe from dredge, it's there. You steer yourself for another long march, and half the town of Wormtow joins you. Ah, sweet, we got Varl! That'll help us die. Well, decline, that makes sense. Quite the caravan. When I started this game, I didn't expect it to be so many caravans like that. The caravan consists of more clansmen than you ever expected. Accusations of stolen chickens, missing heirlooms, and concerns over daughters' virtue are the sorts of things you hear relentlessly. Even fighters complain of spreading too thin to protect everyone. Form a council. Yeah. Because we could do form a council or try to keep people useful and too busy. Form a council. We select a few older members to solve everyday issues, but infighting neuters their progress. Fuck! Kind of assumed. Other members feel they could do a better job. Ultimately, while it buys some time, the council dissolves, tired of the thankless and demanding work. That's fair. At least I didn't lose anything for that. It's a plus. 7 supplies. Morale's declined down to normal. That's another Godstone, I think. Woo. While walking, the words of a mother's song reach you. It's soothing, nuanced, and about your current journey. When she finishes, a man begins a tale of his own in verse. The woman quickly responds with another poem, and the entire caravan slows to listen to the entertaining competition. Join the crowd and cheer on the competitors. The man's response is an upbeat poem which questions the mother's cooking. The caravan explodes with laughter, and the contestants continue amiably for another hour or so. You hear snippets of the poem along the trail the rest of the day, the words changing slightly each time. Yeah, that sounds right. Well, improved morale. Sometimes you gotta take what you can get with that, especially in dire circumstances. You haven't seen Alette for much of the day. When you do find her, she's returning to camp alone from a fair distance away, looking rather sullen. She keeps her eyes on the ground as you approach. Sit quietly beside her. I feel like things are changing so quickly, she eventually confides. It's not just that, everything is going so wrong. I've been talking to E-Kill a lot. This gets your attention. What has he been telling you? He told me how he and Onif are kin. E-Kill had a sister who married Onif, but she died a long time ago. They've been bound since, but then Onif left without him. He's left him behind without a word. That's why he came after us. Confirm E-Kill's story. Sure? Eventually you find Onif back in the camp and relate the story. Is that what E-Kill told you? It's true about his sister. She died of a fever when we were just married. Surprised he opened up like that. So I left him in Frostfeller. He'd be fine one day, ready to kill his own men the next. Sometimes he would. I'd make the same decision tomorrow. Led to the issue drop. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm on Onif's side. Like, yeah, that's great that they were family, but E-Kill's a fucking psycho. I'm willing to give E-Kill the chance to not be psychotic in this lifetime, but I can understand that when he's being psychotic and toxic, sometimes you gotta drop family that's too far gone. You feel certain Alette got the message. Instead of stirring up more trouble, you decide to let the issue drop. And a tighter watch on E-Kill. I mean, why? He's not going to hurt Alette. I think. I think that's another Godstone? Broken one, maybe? Or, yeah. Fishy. And another bigger fishy. Got a fish? Quite a few Varl in the front. I feel like some of those Varl should be at the back of the line for safety. Look, I don't know where that came from. The Godstone of... What the fuck? The Godstone of Merrick looms into view. Upon it carved a great ocean beast. Jagged stones just out of the snow like shark fins. It's hard to imagine the Nordfelling waste being filled with water at one time, but the Godstone stands as a reminder of the vast lake it used to look across. A blessing! Shouts one of the men in the caravan, holding up what looks like a silver coin. It's a fish scale! He says, pointing out the rainbow pattern that shows in the sunlight. Soon, a curious child has found another hiding in the snow, and then a third is discovered. Perhaps they'll bring us luck! Over here, before long, the caravan has become obsessed with gathering the shining scales. Cut them off after a reasonable amount of time. When you awake to find people still searching through the snow and shrubs, you call it off. We can't spend another day here, you tell them. Be glad for the luck you found, and let's go before it runs out. They fret and moan, but eventually you get them back on the trail. There was still more improved than there was lost. Yeah, I don't think I've been here. But I can't remember. Oh, and there's... we're all back to normal again. Great. At least they were happy for a bit. Aldef calls you over grinning. A row of women holding bows of different age and experience line up before a row of trees in the distance. They fire, doing an impressive job of hitting the trucks. I think they're ready to fill some dredge with feathers. One woman still hasn't shot her arrow. She stands perfectly still. The others watch. Just as the wind shifts, she lets go. An arrow flies not into one of the trees, but a snow rabbit that had scurried from underneath. "Dinner," she says, smiling. A group of men from the caravan approach. "Listen here. Practice all you want. My wife isn't fighting dredge." The other men agree in chorus. "We don't want to see a battlefield full of dead wives and daughters." Stand by the women, becoming fighters. The men argue their point, but eventually relent. "Thanks. To be honest, it was harder than I expected. But the more people who can hold their own, the better." The women return to camp, not just as clansmen, but as fighters. Nice. 5 more fighters. Yeah, minus 30. I lost 35 clansmen to gain 25 fighters. Where did the 10 go? Up ahead, a scout shouts. Some giant hall, but it's empty. You approach the structure, but recognize none of the markings. The walls seem unsteady at best. "Finally, sleeping beneath a roof." You overhear several families begin unpacking. Look for any clues about why it was abandoned. Whoever left here may have had a good reason, you tell the caravan, but after a few tiring hours of searching for clues, you have no answers. The frustration of the wasted time is apparent on the clansmen's faces. Sleep in the old hall. I see no reason not to, like, so far. And then a worm rises up, and we find out it's tremors. Cheers are up as people flood into the building. A varl leans against a supporting pillar. It cracks and brings down a portion of the massive roof, crushing a number of clansmen beneath it. Sadly, the rubble is too deep to recover their bodies, and you leave the building behind with regret. How could no one see the fact that it was falling apart? There's no symbolage on it. It must be safe. Do we have no carpenters here? Fuck. How many clans? It doesn't say how many clansmen I lost. God damn it. I have 5 days of supplies and everyone's about to become upset. You hear a whistle on the wind and spot a long line of varl far up ahead, heading toward you. Behind them is a swarm of dredge and a trail of bodies. Leading off in the distance. "Get down there! Get down there!" I've forgotten Krumer's voice. Barks Krumer. I guess here we go. Let's go to hell. Whoa, that's Fawcett. "Don't let them spread out," shouts the lead varl as you approach the battleground. Soon you almost regret finding yourself fighting alongside them, facing off against a daunting number of dredge. There's 145 of them. I don't have that many people. Charging! Rush into battle! You gather your allies and tell them you're ready to lead the attack. Ah! Here we go. Yeah, it is Fasalt. I was right. We haven't read people in a while. We read Alette. We read Odlef. We read Rook. We have not read Onif. Some relation to Ekill has seemingly driven this man away from Fosveller, though he has never told you much about the exact reasons why. Well, I mean, he kind of has, actually. Did we read Eagle? Yes, we have. Mogan and Hogan and Mogan we read? Okay, maybe I haven't read these people at all. Yes, okay, read that one. Odlef. Yep. Pretty sure I read Rook. Yep, alright. Hogan and Mogan. Hogan! Hogan and his brother Mogan have gotten the same question their entire lives. You don't find many twins about, and even fewer to know how to use an axe. Hogan tends to be the more level-headed of the two, which may explain why he ended up with a child and wife. Yeah. Mogan and his brother Hogan have the same question, blah, blah, blah. Mogan tends to be the sort to act first and think later. This may explain the scar, amongst other things. Yep, I've already read Ekill. Run-ins with this lunatic have made you hesitate to let him fight by your side, but his strength and skill almost makes it worth the risk. Cromer, who is a war leader. There are not many Varro older than Cromer, and not many who have as much experience fighting the Dredge. In Wormtoe, eager fighters would regularly come to him to learn his secrets. Yep. And Fasalt, we definitely read. Maybe not. Fasalt has spent a long time with warriors under his command, known for being something of a vicious commander who may have at one point been a brigand with a grudge against mankind. He's also one of the most... one of the most respected for reliably getting the job done. Most recently, he's been posted at Schlid, holding off the Dredge. If Fasalt is anything, he's a Varro loyalist. Fair enough. He's also already level 2, and useful as all shit. So, the problem is, I don't need that many archers, right? So we just do that, and we live with it? Yeah, I think, well, no, because he's level 2. I don't need to get him higher than level 2. So, Hogan? And Hope? It's a terrible idea. This fight's going to go south real fast. I already have that feeling. Ivar, replace Odlif and Hope. I'm not going to start this fight on this episode. I feel like I'm a little bit below 30 minutes, but not by much. I don't remember exactly what time it was when I got up and walked away. But I think we're pretty close to 30 minutes. We're especially close enough that if I do this entire fight, and then the second fight that comes after it, it'll be overtime. So, that is the end of this episode of Banner Saga, and the next episode we're doing this fight and the next fight. And I am very sure that this is new ground for me. So that's fun. So let's start seeing some new stuff, and you guys have yourselves a wonderful night.